Pharaoh Akhenaten didn't just change Egypt's gods, he changed the very blood of his own family. The evidence, bones warped, faces distorted, was so disturbing that ancient priests ordered every trace of him erased from history. But the sands don't forget, and what they've revealed is far worse than anyone imagined. Long before Tutankhamun, Akhenaten tried to remake Egypt in his image, a single god, a single vision, a single bloodline. But behind the sunlit walls of Amarna, something unnatural was happening. Royal mummies show deformities never seen in ordinary Egyptians, elongated skulls, fragile bones, and faces strangely alike. Scholars once blamed art style. New studies suggest selective breeding, even forced inbreeding, to preserve what he called divine purity. When his experiment collapsed, priests struck his name from every wall, every monument. Yet in shattered tomb fragments, the story still hums, a warning from the Heretic King who tried to play God. When Howard Carter opened Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, the world spoke of curses. But the real curse wasn't supernatural. It was political. Tut's body carries evidence of a shattered leg, a blow to the skull, and traces of resins poured too soon, signs of a rushed burial. Recent papyrus finds whisper of a palace coup, priests loyal to the old gods, silencing the boy who carried his father's heresy. The so-called curse may have been no more than the vengeance of men terrified of divine scandal. For 20 years, Pharaoh Hatshepsut ruled a peaceful and prosperous Egypt. She built monuments that still tower over the desert, temples, obelisks, entire cities carved with her name. And then, someone tried to make her disappear. Statues smashed, faces hacked from stone, her royal cartouches scraped away until even the gods couldn't read them. It wasn't just revenge, it was a ritual erasure, a sentence of eternal silence. When her mummy was finally identified in 2007, hidden among commoners, the embalmers had stripped away the royal regalia, sealing her fate as the queen who dared to be king. Ramses the Great ruled longer than almost any pharaoh, and he wanted eternity to remember him. Every temple, every wall carried his image. Every victory, even defeats, carved in stone. Yet behind the grandeur lay fear. Thousands of workers toiled in secret quarries and desert tombs, sworn never to reveal their roots. Some inscriptions speak of those who vanished after the monuments were sealed, names struck from payrolls, replaced by silence. To build immortality, Ramses buried not just treasure, but truth. His mummy was found centuries later, its skin still marked by ancient oils, a king preserved by his own obsession with outlasting death itself. By the time of Cleopatra VII, Egypt's throne had become a stage for survival. Greek scholars wrote that she studied chemistry and medicine in Alexandria's great library. Later writers, Roman, Hostel, spoke of a queen who tested antidotes and venoms on condemned criminals. The truth is simpler and darker. Cleopatra's court was obsessed with control. She gathered physicians, alchemists, and priests, searching for mixtures that could heal a ruler or end a rival. Her downfall came not from poison, but from politics. Yet her legend endures, a woman who turned knowledge itself into a weapon. Khufu, called Cheops by the Greeks, raised the Great Pyramid, the last of the ancient wonders still standing. To later generations, he became a symbol of tyranny. Herodotus claimed he closed the temples and forced every Egyptian to labor for his tomb. Archaeology paints a subtler picture. Vast work crews housed in purpose-built villages, fed by enormous state farms, bound by duty and belief. They carved his monument to the heavens, not only for their king, but for cosmic order itself. Yet Khufu's burial chamber was found empty, its treasures lost, perhaps hidden, perhaps never placed. Even the greatest pyramid could not guard him from time. Amenhotep II, the son of the great conqueror Thutmose III, ruled with the strength of an army behind him. Inscriptions tell of his unmatched skill with the bow, 6 arrows through a copper target, they said, before it hit the ground. On temple walls at Karnak, he boasted of bringing home prisoners by the hundreds from Canaan and Syria, their leaders displayed as proof of Egypt's might. To his subjects, he was the living embodiment of the war god Montu. But each triumph carved into stone also hid the cost. Egypt's growing empire stretched thin, its sons buried far from home. The pharaoh who conquered the world left behind a kingdom weighed by its victories. Pepi II took Egypt's throne as a child and ruled for more than 90 years, the longest reign in human history. At first, his court glittered with optimism. Expeditions to Nubia, trade across the Red Sea, pyramids rising along the Nile. But time turned his blessing into a curse. The longer he lived, the weaker the throne became. Governors grew powerful, priests defied Memphis, and the old kingdom's order began to crumble. By the time Pepi was finally gone, Egypt's unity had vanished with him, an empire aged to dust before its king. Across 3,000 years, Egypt's rulers called themselves gods on earth. Yet every monument, every secret chamber tells a different story. Of fear, pride, and the desperate need to be remembered. Their names were carved into eternity, but even stone can lie. The sands remember the truths they tried to hide.